Hello, this tutorial is on the two hands anyhow. This ties in to what you can call old-time strongman or old-time lifting, like the bent press, which was my previous tutorial. And so this is a good companion to the bent press. Both the bent press as well as the two hands anyhow are lifts that are not seen very often, and they sort of were dusted off with the emerging of the modern kettlebell movement, which I was a part of the early days of that about 20 years ago. So the kettlebell community sort of brought back some of these old-time lifts, and they're great to learn and explore movement ranges and movement education because your body is having to do many different things. So the two hands anyhow may be one of the most complex lifts in terms of the different types of demands on the body. And in these type of movements, you're going to find that just raw strength, in other words, if you can hoist heavy weights, that may not necessarily be enough to be able to do a good two hands anyhow, because the flexibility is an important component of this. And if you have the strength but you don't have the mobility and flexibility to get into the position, you may not be able to pull it off. So let me break it down for you. So it's called the two hands anyhow. We got two hands and it's anyhow. That means you get the kettlebell overhead. How you're going to do it? Well, there's anyhow. So for example, you can clean and press, and now I have it overhead with the clean and press. Now from here, I'm going to come into a full squat. Okay? And I have to be stable in the squat position. Now, this kettlebell on the floor, I'm going to curl that. Now I stand up with it, and I complete it. Okay? We like to train both sides like with other things. So now I lower this down. So that's completion of one rep. Now, definitely you can do this lift with two weights that are equivalent. However, there's also a lot of value in doing it like how I'm showing it now, which is different weights, one heavier than the other, and that's going to put a different kind of demand on the body, where you're going to have to stabilize according to the differential. And so the first set, so I have a 16 kilogram and a 20 kilogram, and for my fellow Americans, learn the metric system. There's a whole big world out there, and kilograms is the international standard. So the 16 kilograms about 35 pounds, the 20 kilograms about 45 pounds. So it's take the kilogram times 2.21 and you have your pounds. Okay, so it's called two hands anyhow. I'm going to flip it so I have equal on both sides. Another way is I can snatch it. So now I have it overhead, and again, squat down. You have to be stable here. Lift this to the chest. Finish it and reverse. Okay, and again, other side. Finish both sides. Stand it up. And again, that's another complete rep. So if you haven't done this before, some preliminary movement. First and foremost, you need to be able to stabilize a load overhead. So that's going to be a prerequisite. And again, you can clean and press. You have the overhead stability there. There's that line. For example, you can snatch it. Okay, you have that overhead stability. There's that line. Okay, or you could do a clean and push press. Okay, so you could clean, push press. That's another way to do it. You can clean, jerk. Okay, but you have that end point. Okay, so from here, prerequisite is overhead lockup. Another prerequisite is going to be an overhead squat. So normally when I teach that at the beginning, you want to look up at the kettlebell, get that base. Okay, get that base. Okay. So you have to work the squat and the overhead squat and the press. Now on this side, from a full squat position, you're going to curl it, and you can brace your elbow along the inside of the knee. Make sure the knees are staying out over the toes, not collapsing. Okay, and then I kind of wedge the elbow against the thigh. Can bring that to here. So now you front squat up, and again you bring it overhead so you can press it, push press it, or jerk. And so those are some prerequisites. Now, another important point is as you start getting into heavier loads, because especially the curl, that's not going to be great mechanics as the kettlebell gets heavier. Now it's basically a bicep. So I'm going to give you some more precise cueing here to be able to handle heavier loads. So now I'm going to bump it up to the 24 kilogram with a 28 kilogram. Okay, and start with the heavier on this side last time, so I'll start with the heavier on this side for this set as well. So now I bring this first bell, it's the 28, overhead. Now when you have the overhead starts getting heavy, you really want to pay attention to this. So what I advise is to just kind of step up to the other one so that my foot is there and I know where it is without looking, okay, because I can feel. You don't want to be searching and then you lose the stability overhead here. So really focus on this. My foot's here so I can just track, and I have that, okay? Now with a heavier bell, I may not be able to curl it. I have to wedge myself under, so I'm lifting with my legs, with this bottom hand. So I'm lifting to get it into position. Okay, sometimes the reps aren't perfect. Now again, it's even heavier on the bottom this time. So I have to really wedge, get myself under to be able to get it into position. Okay, and again, wedge under, keep that stable, bring it up, lower, bring it down. Always into control, always under control. And again, getting a little bit tired here, so I really got to use good mechanics to wedge into position. It's anyhow. And finish it up. And so that's two hands anyhow. And also instructive because I never edit these videos. It's one take, one shot. And in this one, my form wasn't perfect on all the reps. So you saw me have to recover, imperfect rep, but you keep going, okay? You're in a battle, you find a way to get through it. It's not always going to be pretty, but again, you train the foundation, you develop good habits, good patterns, good biomechanic, and so even when you're tired, even when you have an imperfect day, or even when it's 11:30 at night after jiu-jitsu, like it is now, or whatever the situation, your body still can kind of finish it, okay? So kind of a double lesson in this one. That's the two hands anyhow. As always, questions, comments, requests, leave it in the comment section below. Thank you.